Legends, welcome back to another episode of the Ruck Infringement Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Joey, and this is episode 105, Show Me the Money. Joining me this week, the boys are back all the way from Perth, Optus Stadium this week. Ryan, the Dongle Fancy, how are you, mate?
Hello, mate. Getting my frequent flyer miles up, that's for sure.
You really are. You and that team of yours.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Incredible.
It's good. I get around, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
You should come with me next time.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah. Perth. It's a good little getaway.
Actually, invite me next time.
Yeah. I didn't go to Perth, but yeah.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
And of course, joining us all the way from Wollongong again, win, Jubilee Stadium, and it was a win.
It was.
Josh, the St. Bradley, how are you, mate?
Oh, can't be any better, I reckon. I mean, I could ask the same of you, Joey. How are you feeling?
Mate, I'm fantastic. 3 from 3 this week, boys. Compared to last week, where all 3 of our teams lost, we've come a long way.
It's good to be back on top.
It's very,
Yeah.
very
The
good.
kingdom is being built up.
Yes, apart from Penrith, but we'll talk about that soon. Of course, Luke and Harry are still not here. They are back next week. They have just landed back from Thailand, which is really exciting. Excited to see them back. So next week we'll talk a little bit about what happened over there in Thailand.
I'm excited to hear about the surgery.
The stuff that Harry can tell us. The stuff that they can't. But look, we'll try and get some stories out of them. Who knows?
Involved a ping pong show.
That's what I heard. Yeah,
I didn't know they were good at table tennis.
Harry actually started it too.
Oh, good. Oh, good. That's
Little keyhole. But if you are listening or following us for the first time, don't forget you can check us out on all social media: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. Also Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube as well. Just want to make a quick reference: BTZ teamwear with these awesome new Ruck Infringement Podcast shirts, polo shirts you see we're rocking tonight. All the boys have one pretty special, so shout out to BTZD teamwear for the awesome shirts. They are wonderful, and we will we'll tag them in our Instagram, so check them out. Boys, let's get into a bit of the Ruck Report. Of course, no Ruck Report last night, Sunday night. It was quite a busy weekend for me, so we didn't do that online. So we'll go through our review of the week now. Let's go all the way back to Thursday night footy. Dolphins v Penrith. Now, again, the 5th week in a row. We called it. Penrith got their 5-peat.
Mm-hmm.
Lost again. Dolphins getting it done 30-12, I believe.
Yep. 30-12. It was
It was crazy, mate. Take us through it.
It was hard to see. It was hard to see. It was actually pretty funny to watch. Yeah. It was,
I saw it quite well on the TV. You know?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, my eyes are working. Thank you.
It might have been hard to see for Penrith.
Yeah, I definitely was leaning towards that.
They did.
I
I don't know if they were there. To be
I
honest,
would have gone as well. Yeah.
that left edge.
Yeah. They it's just like hard to imagine. Like I didn't picture that would happen at all. I think like I know I took the Dolphins on last week's show, but
Yeah.
I was pretty not
With no
confident in that at
confidence,
all.
yeah.
Yeah, like I thought Dylan Edwards back, they'd turn it on, turn up, but same old apparently. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. The only team that they've beaten this year is black, white, and blue. But yeah,
Mate,
bastards.
still no wins in
Still-
Australia.
0. Yeah, that's
Still
it.
0 wins in Australia for 2025. Incredible scenes. Josh, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I'm not talking about Moses Leota and that try he got off Jack Bostock's kick, but let's talk about Penrith now. As the Dongle said, Edwards was back. I think a lot of people expected, with Edwards back, Cleary back, these two will start to click into gear. You know, they'll get their first win of the season. Mate, what is going on?
I think it's the same as what the Tigers had a couple of weeks ago. No Luai, no team.
Yeah.
They're
Wow.
missing that third well-known playmaker.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you've got Cleary. You got Edwards coming up from the back. Who else is there? Yes, you've got your lesser-known players, but no one to really help Cleary
Yeah.
on the line.
I'll tell you what, that left edge struggled. Talagi, Talagi, it's his first couple of games at 5'8". He's going to struggle, but he's got to work on passing because there was 3 times where he could have had Jenkins over for a hat-trick.
Yeah.
Could have had Jenkins in for a hat-trick easy, but held the ball. And then Casey McLean, man, coach killer.
Yep.
Absolute coach killer. Dropped the ball about 4 or 5 times on that left side. Just
I think
you can't do that sort of stuff, especially when you're a premiership team.
well, they were the favourites. Yeah, even going into this season, they were they weren't the favourites, but they were definitely up there.
Yeah.
I think once Tyler comes back, they'll push Alamotti to that centre position. And I think McLean's going to be the one to go,
I
yeah.
think Alamotti going
Yeah.
into the centres
Yeah.
probably be one of the best things for the Panthers to do.
I agree. But there was also on that right side when Alamotti, I don't know if you guys watched it, but it was when Cleary threw that cutout ball and Alamotti was in at centre rather than out on the wing.
Yeah.
And it went straight out. And it really annoyed me watching that because Alamotti's played enough with them now to know that that's going to happen.
And isn't that just
You're a winger,
basic football?
You know that your halfback is going to try a cutout. If there's a 3-on-2, you know that's going to happen every time.
Yeah.
Well, 99% of the time.
You know
that's
they're going to
happen.
do it, especially if it is Cleary.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Credit to the Dolphins, boys. I thought the hammer was really good. Hat trick.
Yeah.
He looked incredible, as always. I mean, he's always a good player. Jack Bostock had a little kick to forget. And didn't his dad remind him? I don't know if you guys were watching it on Channel 9, but his dad afterwards, they went to interview Jack Bostock and he was standing with his dad in the crowd there. And she's like, oh, were you proud of him tonight? And he goes, yeah, but geez, that kick was shocking. And he said, don't worry, I'll let him I'll remind him about it. And man, I was like, wow, your team just beat Penrith and you're going on about your son's kick, mate. But
your parents are always going to be the harshest critics.
Of course, yeah. I'm the same with my boys. And they're 4-1, but
Yeah, right. Do better.
Yeah, do better.
Get a better podcast.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, wow.
All right, I will.
Right.
Moving on to our first Friday night game, it was the Dargans against the Tits. The Dargans getting it done in a big way, 38-16. Now, I was out at a poker night. Shout out to my wife's cousin, of course, Sam Tyers, for the poker night. It was awesome, mate. While we're there, we're watching the Dargans. I had a cheeky little multi on. Doesn't sound like me, but I did. Had a multi on.
I don't think it got up, did it?
It did. I was close. I had Holmes in there. He scored. I had Gutherson in there. He didn't score. I had the money man, Christian Tuipulotu, to score, and he scored. Actually, I think I only missed by one. I had Philip Sami for the Titans. He scored, and then I just needed Campbell. I was pretty sure. Campbell and Gutherson. So I missed by 2 legs. But let's talk about the Dargans first. They looked very, very clinical in this game. This is what Flano would have wanted from them.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's what he would have wanted. It's what the fans would have wanted, especially after last week.
Yeah.
They just look strong. They looked
did.
very strong that game.
Yeah.
Even though Gutho didn't get over, he's got to be one of the signings of the season for the Dragons.
Sure, mate. He is having a cracking 2025 already.
Yeah.
Looking really good.
Just good on you. They must be listening to the podcast because I said something a bit poor about them last week.
You stirred them up.
Yeah.
They definitely are.
Riled them up.
Yeah. They jump on our YouTube where you can go to as well, the Ruck podcast, and they watch every episode.
Yeah, they do,
Yeah.
It's, goes on the training room and that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is what Josh said this week, the Saints, so listen up. But Dylan Egan, mate, I want to talk to you about him. Little fiery redhead.
Yeah.
Started this week. Front row, played 80 minutes, good try.
Yeah.
150 odd metres. Mate, could be a star.
Could be, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't actually catch this game, but
Yeah.
it was, by all reports, it was good. Yeah,
He was very good. I had him in Supercoach, got me a nice
Ginger
century.
of Gerringong? Isn't it?
Yes.
Ginger of Gerringong.
I thought you had a stutter at first. Gerringong. What'd you say? But yes, no. The Ginger of Gerringong. Yeah. But no, he was very good, Dylan Egan. Very good. For the Titans, boys, look, they've looked okay the past couple of weeks. Big loss to the Dolphins last week. They really needed to make a statement in this game. Didn't do that. They've got a terrible record at Wollongong, and that continues.
Yeah.
Mate, can you tell us anything about the Titans that you think was positive? Or I know you didn't catch much of it, but from watching highlights or anything, they just didn't look that good.
They didn't look good. No, they didn't click at all by the sounds of it. But it was always going to be we all said it last week, the win-loss with the Dragons. We expected them to be clinical, and by all reports, they were just that. Yeah,
They were. Jaden Campbell kicked for 580 metres, I believe, kick metres. So very, very good there from Campbell. Great effort. But Titans need to find something, get back to the drawing board, and quick smart. But let's jump into the game of the round. Friday night, 8 p.m, Suncorp Stadium. Broncos v Roosters. Now, Roosters getting it done 26-16. So, I was at this poker night, as I was telling you about. I'm sitting there, second game comes on, and, everyone around me, they're all chattering away about these Broncos, and, here comes, they didn't say Glassjaw Reynolds. I said, here comes Glassjaw Reynolds.
Yeah.
But they said, here comes Adam Reynolds, and, Reece Walsh. And I said, boys, if you haven't thrown your money on the Roosters in this game, you're absolute lunatics. All right, $5.50, absolute steals in this game. And what a
We
performance!
called you crazy. Yeah.
You all called me crazy. You all called me crazy against Penrith as well at $11. But here we are. We just need to play top 4 teams this
I was
year.
going to say, you guys are like the opposite of the flat track bullies, yeah?
We're
What's
the
that
opposite
called?
of our season last year. We
Yeah.
finished 3rd last year. We didn't beat any top 4 teams.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's all you did.
We were one of them, but,
Yeah.
but we didn't beat the
I
other
bet yourself.
3.
Yeah.
But let's start with the Broncos, Josh. Now, they just had they had moments of brilliance, but it was just like they went in with a real sort of complacency in this game.
Yeah, I mean, after last week, how could you not?
Yeah.
The demolition of, who was it, Manly? No.
The Broncos played last week.
Yeah.
Tigers,
Tigers.
yes.
Yeah, the demolition of the Tigers last week, they would have gone into this game thinking, we got this,
Yeah.
we don't need to try as hard. They did, I will say this, they did try hard the first 10 minutes of both halves.
Yeah, yeah,
After that, they dropped off.
yeah. Yeah, they scored first in the second half, and I thought, well, here we go, this is going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right. Boys, of course, the game marred by sin bins as well. I think there was about 4 in this game.
Yeah, another.
Billy
yeah.
Smith, the first one. It's just ridiculous at the moment. Like Billy Smith's one, shoulder, Reece Walsh fell, and so it contacts the face, and he grabs his eyeliner, and then, you know, Billy gets sin bin.
Yeah.
But
2 bins, 5 reports.
yeah. And then, of course, Jagewski from Broncos. Here's the other one. Again, it was soft.
Yeah.
I didn't really think it required a sin bin. And then the one that really annoyed me was Connor Watson getting put on report. Head clash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He ran into the Broncos player, their heads hit,
Yeah.
and Broncos get a penalty and he gets put on report. I said, what? Like, to me, I thought that was just head on head.
If that was the Panthers, they would have been sent to the bin.
Who, the Panthers or the opposition?
No, Panthers.
No, it was Broncos, mate. So it's always penalty Broncos. The meme was back. And then, like the Angus Crichton one as well. Like, he's attacking when his elbow's in Reynolds' face. He's attacking. He's holding the ball. You know, he's trying to palm. I don't really know how you get penalised when you're attacking. But anyway, they did. Whatever, you know.
I think it was more the shock factor for Reynolds.
This is
too,
the crackdown at the moment. What annoyed me about the Reynolds one was that he held his throat. Then they blew the penalty, then he gets back up and he's fine. He's straight back in the line. I'm sorry, but if you're in that much pain, go off.
Go play soccer.
Go off. Or just go off. You know what I mean?
Like he has to go off the field to play soccer.
Yeah, he does. That's right. But they need to crack down on more the milking of penalties. And if you're injured, then go off. That's what I would be saying if I was a ref.
Yeah.
All right, if they've injured you a lot, then you should be heading off the field as well.
Yeah, like a 2-minute assessment or something like that.
Yeah,
Really.
absolutely.
I think that's...
But let's talk about the Roosters now, Ryan. Billy Smith.
Billy Smith.
I told you boys when he was back last week, I said Billy Smith is a fantastic talent if he can stay fit and healthy.
Yep.
He did, scored a double in this game, and looked the goods.
Great, yeah. And I forget his last name. Halfback. I'm sure you're going to talk about
Savala.
him. Hugo Savala, yeah.
Very good.
His kicking game, I thought, just kept him in the game. Like
just kept turning Walsh around.
Walsh could not get the ball, could not get on the full, and by the end they were so gassed from just chasing all game.
Yeah,
they just couldn't keep up. They just suffocated.
Poor Chad was sitting in sitting in the sheds going, "Well, I've played my last game for the
New South Wales Cup for me." Yeah,
maybe he was happy. I don't know.
I guess he would be. Yeah, but they just suffocated the Broncos, didn't they? Yeah, like it was. Great to watch. Clinical, nearly. Yeah, like
Hugo has been talked about for a long time, and I don't want to put too much pressure on the kid, but they've actually called him Cooper Cronk for a long time with the same sort of play style and kicking style that he has. Yeah. He's a bit taller, obviously. Cronk was quite short, but
that's a big call.
Yeah, massive for. I don't think they should do that when kids are 18, 19.
No, definitely not. No.
You don't know how their career is going to go. They could be one injury away from ending it all. But he has been touted as that sort of player. So it's going to be hard for the Roosters come November 1 because I think he's going to be very sought after. With the kicking game he's got, he could develop under, if he went to Melbourne and played under Bellamy, imagine what he could become, So he's going to be really sought after. Of course, we think DC is coming to the Chooks, so probably not really a spot for Savala for a little bit, unless he wants to learn off DCE as well. But he was fantastic. The other one, Nat Butcher, started in the front row, really good, nice little meat pie. 25 tackles, none missed. For Butch as well, 130 odd metres. So
huge from a front row.
Very good. He doesn't usually play front row, so he's usually a lock or a second row. So it was good to see him up there. But let's jump into our first Saturday game. Now, Super Saturday. I always love a bit of Super Saturday.
Who doesn't?
Yes, and it was
All
your
the way over
boys.
to Perth.
Your boys,
Yeah.
mate. The Perth doubleheader. It began the Sharks v Manly. Now, 24-18 doesn't really tell the story of this game. Nico made this game extremely hard for all Sharks fans and for the players himself, kicking 2 from 5.
Yep.
This game should have been 30-18,
30, yeah.
but Nico made it a one-try ball game, mate. Mate, take us through what you enjoyed about this game.
Full time. Sorry. Yeah. That last minute, I just had like Vietnam
Visions, yeah.
flashbacks of last week. We're going to bottle this. I
Yeah.
messaged my mate. I think I messaged you as well, and I'm like, this is not confident here at all.
Yeah.
And then Trindle throws that cutout ball, intercepts. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Just hold on to it.
When Brooks ran in the field, I was like, here we go.
Yep, and I thought it was because if any team was going to butcher that at the last minute, it'd be the Sharks. But great watch. I thought we were saying last week, weren't we? Like, what do we do with Hines? Do we put him in fullback and maybe move Kennedy on somewhere else? Just see how it goes. But he's double M. Got all the points. He was man of the match for the Sharks. He was dynamite. Scored that brilliant try. Yeah, just out of nothing. Yeah.
I mean, that was soft defence. He literally danced around 4 players and still went through the line, threw a dummy that Cherry Evans.
Yeah.
I don't know if Cherry Evans thought that he
might get the ball. Yeah.
It was just weird because
he fell for 2, didn't he?
Yeah, but the dummy was so poor. Like, I don't know how Cherry Evans fell for it, but he did, and Kennedy scored a great try.
Straight under the post. Yeah,
it was very nice.
It was good watching it. I was very happy with that, and then kind of dwindled away towards the end, but we held on, thankfully.
Yes.
It's always been a tough game though.
I think Nico needs to head back to the kicking school and
I think he'll be there.
Learn to goal kick a little bit because there was a couple of those that he would usually nail. I don't know if he had an injury or something, but
I'm not too sure.
Tommy Hazelton was great off the bench again.
Big fella, scored a try. Yeah,
Love
back to his last year form.
Yeah, always
back
good for an anytime try scorer too.
Yeah, he looked great. Yeah,
very good, and of course Stone Street on the wing.
Yeah, he did as well, didn't you? You tried.
Did, of course.
So that was good. I think Adam Fanua-Blake also had a big game too. Like he, as always, like he still did like his usual more than 150 metres kind of deal, and he had pretty average game boys. Now, which is just still massive metres.
I think because he's now at the Sharks, he's in a squad where he's not really needed as much as say when he was at the Warriors.
Yeah.
At the Warriors, he was the main man because they didn't have the forwards to score a try the way he could.
Yeah.
Whereas here they do, and they've got agile forwards. So I think the minutes he's not getting as many, but he's still playing good footy. So
that's it.
That's what you want.
Still ahead of him. Yeah, just do your job. Yeah,
Exactly.
Do a good job.
That's right. Josh, Manly, 2 in a row now. Look, it was a hard watch last week against Melbourne at home. They come over here. They got a point to prove. They don't want to be that team that can't win away from home. But at the moment, they are just looking terrible without Turbo.
Yeah, I mean, apart from the soft try that the Sharks gave Jerry Evans right at the end there.
Yeah.
Other than that, just the Manly that we know and love to hate.
Yeah. And feared.
Yeah.
How great this team was. You look at the 80s, 90s, the late 2010s when they dominated as well.
They just dropped off.
Yeah.
Like, yes, a team is not just one player.
Yeah.
But the loss of Turbo has shown that Manly really need him in the team.
It just affects them so much. I've never seen this sort of impact in a team. Like, Knights without Ponga is very similar, but...
Is it that second leadership?
I don't know what it is. Like, Turbo's don't get me wrong, Turbo's a great player, but he has had these injuries for so many years now.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like, surely they're used to playing without him now.
Yeah.
Surely they're used to that, and they need to learn to overcome it, because if they can't, they're not going to win a comp for 10, 20 years.
Even next year without DCE, they're going to struggle.
That's right.
Even more.
Especially if Tommy goes down again.
He's still playing brilliant football, DCE. So
yeah,
once he's gone and Tommy's down, assuming Tommy's going to go down next year.
Yeah.
It could be quite a long season for.
It's going to be very tough. But let's jump into our second Saturday game.
We hate Manly too.
What a fantastic game this was.
Yeah.
The Eels and the Raiders now.
Second game.
Oh, second game. Sorry about that. Souths and Cowboys. A fantastic game. This one. The Cowboys 3 on the trot now. The second of the doubleheader in Perth.
Yeah.
Cowboys getting it done 24-16. Now, Jackson Purdue, a double.
Putting one for a meaty.
Oh, mate, I had him in there in my anytime. He is a fantastic player. Ryan, this kid could be anything.
He could, yeah, and he's just great watching. Yeah, like doesn't put a foot out of place, and he's always in the right spot. Yeah,
He's
like,
actually 5'8" too.
Is he?
So he's even playing out of position.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know, I'd leave him there. Yeah,
Absolutely.
He's dominating as long as he's scoring tries and doing
right.
everything he should be doing. It's not like he can't tackle or anything like that. Like he's solid in defence. He's quick as well on his feet. Like he can run, and yeah, like I said, he's always in the right spot. So
Yeah.
if you're looking to keep him there, yeah, particularly when the halves are doing a good job for the Cowboys anyway. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I wouldn't move him on. No.
No. Josh, the Rabbits now, they looked good early. This game, it was sort of a nothing game for so long. It was 0-0 for a very long time, and then it was 2-0 for a while, and it just dragged on and on and on, and, you know, there was a lot of drop ball. And then the Rabbits kicked into gear, and I thought, Cowboys are in a bit of trouble here. They got it done, but, mate, let's talk a bit about the Rabbits, sorry. So, Latrell played 5'8". As much as I hate to say it, silky hands.
Yep.
2 try assists looked very good.
Silky hands, still a wrong decision by the Rabbits.
Yeah.
He should have been in that centre role.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking having him as the 5'8". It just looked wrong.
He also took all the kicking meters. He kicked about 750 kick meters, and Sullivan kicked like 30.
Okay.
It's crazy.
All right.
Yeah. I reckon Rabbits just let everyone down this week.
They just shitted at the end, didn't they? Like, and we need to talk about this because I don't think it was a hip drop, but Jack Whiten gets sin binned, and even Todd Payton came out, the Cowboys coach, and said it's not a hip drop. Like, we haven't had a hip drop called since last year, probably early last year,
When that was all the rage.
and all of a sudden they're calling it just because his leg has landed on a player's foot. That doesn't make it a hip drop.
Yeah.
And I just don't get these calls. And the Cowboys scored 2 tries. Whiten goes off, they scored 2 tries. And essentially they win the game, you know. Yeah. So we've really... I don't know what to do. And look, we're going to get to a stage soon where we're not allowed to talk about referees, or we'll get fined as well. But, you know, because that's how famous we are.
You reckon we're on the radar?
Yeah, definitely. For sure.
Oh, we're definitely...
Yeah.
We're definitely on the radar.
Yeah.
We're at the top of the
I
list.
just like to say that we actually got the blue tick this week. We're actually verified on Instagram.
Yes, Joey.
The blue tick on Insta. So,
Is that $8 still?
no, I didn't pay for it at all, mate. What are you talking about? But we're verified on Instagram, so yeah, so watch out.
Beauty,
We're on the radar of every referee now.
Oh, there we go.
And Peter Volandis, Rugby League.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jack Whiten, boys, again, I think could have played him at 5'8", could have played Latrell at centre. Like, it was a pretty easy move. I'm not sure why. I know Bennett loves Latrell. Like, it's like Darius Boyd for him.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a son. And I don't know if that played into the decision, whether he just said, well, if you want to play 5'8", then you can play 5'8". But I do agree with you. I don't like having Latrell at 5'8". I think he's one of the best centres in the game if he plays centre. And you can't move Jai Gray. Again, had a fantastic game again.
Yep.
60-odd fantasy points. I think over 200 metres ran for Jai Gray. He was absolutely electric. So, look, credit to the Bunnies. Couldn't get it done. Shout out to Shani. Sorry that Cowboys won. I did tip the Cowboys. I just want to say that. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that was good.
And then, of course, jumping into our last Saturday game. Now, what a game this was.
What a, yeah.
What a blowout.
Oh, what a blowout.
Eels
yeah,
and the Raiders. Raiders getting it done 50-12. Now, I've never ridden the Eels so hard in my life. After Penrith lost, the Roosters won. All we needed was Parramatta to win for Penrith to drop to 17th. Look, they started well.
They did. It was 6-all for a while.
And then that was it. That was it. Look, I think the Eels would have just been happy to see the back of Darwin. That's it for their Darwin contract now. They've won 1 from 5.
That's it.
Over the past 5 years, and they would be ecstatic to leave Darwin and never return. Shout out to our Darwin viewers, of course, and listeners. We know there's, as I said last time, hundreds of thousands of us. But let's talk about the Eels first, Ongle. Now, I just don't know where to next for this side. They just look. I don't even know if a slump is the right word, because it just seems that the players are trying, but they're just not getting results.
No, they're not getting results, and like the inexperience is there too. Like like you said, like we just said, they started pretty well. Like it was 6-all up until about like the 25th minute or something. Like they were very much in it. Dylan Brown scored a pretty awesome try, and he also did a pretty excellent try-saving tackle too. Towards the back of the first half, I thought he was great, and then just went AWOL in the second half, and then it just seemed like the Eels just sort of went their business as usual. Well, they're probably going to lose this. Let's just pack it up. not really much positive to say about the Eels. Yeah, like I know they're still missing a bunch of players, a few key players like Jack Williams and obviously Mitch Moses.
Now Lomax,
and
of
now
course, as
Lomax
well.
is gone too. Yeah, so
Massive.
it's not looking good anytime soon. Yeah, like they'll be sweating on a bye, I think.
Tell you what, I was close to multi in this one, boys. I was one leg off 1,300. Just needed Simonson to go over for the Eels.
Yeah.
Had all the Raiders boys.
Yep.
And I had Adokar and someone else from Eels who scored.
Eels, yeah.
And
It's Dylan Brown.
Dylan Brown.
Yeah.
I didn't have Dylan Brown in mind.
Yeah, okay.
But there were maybe it was all Raiders and I had Adokar and Simonson. Anyway, I got all of it apart from Simonson, so I was pretty close there. Josh was talking about the Raiders now. First off, this is twice in 6 rounds. The Eels have had 50 points put on them.
Yeah.
So they can not only not win the comp, but they can't win it twice. So they are absolutely out of contention now. But let's talk about the Raiders, Josh. They looked absolutely electrifying in this game. And it's their forwards. I have never seen a team with so many forwards that can score tries. Tarpany, Hudson Young, Matty Nicholson got another one.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's insane.
Yeah.
The way they played, I didn't watch the whole game. I was out helping my grandparents with bingo.
Oh, what a saint.
Legs 11.
Oh, 7
Two
over
fat
there.
ladies. But no,
59.
Harry's favourite.
I watched the highlights of this game. It was all Raiders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eels had their 2 tries,
Mm.
nothing else of theirs was in the highlights reel, thankfully. But yeah, and to answer your question that you asked, the dongle over there, where to for the Eels? I think it's back to the kitchen warehouse.
Relegation, mate.
Back to kitchen warehouse, grab another wooden spoon.
It's been a couple of years now, but yeah. They don't need to go to the kitchen warehouse. They just go over to Campbelltown, go to the Tigers draw.
So we'll have it this week.
Say we'll have it this year, all right? And then they'll send it
the
over.
next 5.
They'll send it over to Newcastle for the next couple as well. And then Sharks after that. So
Manly.
Oh yeah, Manly.
Big
I mean, you know, Manly have never ever had a wooden spoon.
Oh, they will next year.
How crazy is that though? It's pretty. Anyway, we're getting off track here, boys. Yeah, Raiders incredible. Joseph Tarpany, like you throw this guy in for an anytime try scorer almost every week he gets over.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah,
And it's so good to see. And the big horse, he ran over 200 meters
The big
at
horse.
mock.
Yeah,
213 meters.
sexy and he knows it. Yeah.
Oh, he's so sexy. I love Big Horse, Big Red. Absolute stud. Of course, Corey, if you're listening, jump on, mate.
What do you mean if?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Avid listener of the show.
Always.
Corey, let us know when you come in. I'm not going to be here. Big Red.
Big Red. Let's jump into some Sunday Arvo footy now. The first game, Storm v Wars. What a shock. Andrew Johns was wrong.
Yep.
Saying that the Warriors were the Storm's bogey team after Storm had beaten them 20 times in a row, make it 21.
Bogies.
Storm getting it done 42-14 in this game. Now, Josh, I don't really know any positives really for the Wars. There wasn't many.
They scored 3 tries.
They did, but it was sort of late in the second half, and only because Storm rested everyone. But can you give the Wars fans some glimmer of hope?
Yeah, I think I can actually.
There we go.
Oh no, sorry. Oh, you might get a win in 2 weeks.
But they got Dragons.
The Knights.
Oh yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, fair,
It's on.
fair.
Unfortunately, boys, Warriors aren't what they were last year or the year before.
Yeah,
How many people do you hear saying up the Wars now?
me.
Apart from you, Joey, you're special.
I was like saying it's just so catchy.
He's been at Penrith for a while.
Yeah.
But nah, like you said, there was nothing really of the Warriors.
It's so hard because it's a game like this used to be the Anzac game.
Yeah.
Storm Wars.
Yeah.
It was always a good game to watch. The Wars have always been competitive, but just can't get it over Melbourne, which a lot of teams can't. So there's no discredit
Unless
to
you're the Dragons.
Yeah, but there's no discredit to the Warriors. It's not like they're the only team that don't beat Melbourne. Like there's a lot of teams that don't.
Yeah.
But Melbourne were just so clinical, Dongle. Like they just 36-0 at half time.
Yeah.
They already had the game won.
That's when they pulled Hughes off fairly
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
He actually injured his shoulder
his
in
shoulder
the 12th
injured, yeah.
minute.
I think
played on.
Beliak said he could have come back on after they took him off.
Right.
But they were just resting him kind of thing. Like,
Hopefully he's alright. I brought him in the Supercoach this week and he got me 16 points.
Yeah, he might be right. Hopefully, they will lead him. Yeah, but yeah, disappointing it's not the Anzac game anymore. I guess
Yeah.
it's going to be something a little more interesting now. But well, not really. Actually, I just looked it up. It's the Warriors and Newcastle. It's the new Anzac Day game, which
Yeah,
is
there you go.
that'll be a fucking snooze fest. But yeah,
Yeah, it should
I'll
be.
asleep for that. Yeah, probably
Roosters and Dragons, of course, is
Coast
always good. Anzac
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah,
That's
all-
the main. That's the
Yeah,
main.
we'll
that's
talk
all people
about
stay
that
for.
later, Joey.
Yeah, definitely.
People stay for that. Yeah. But no, I didn't catch much of this game either. Of course,
Didn't need to.
Alexander Volkanovski fighting yesterday. What's up? That was
Very
awesome.
nice.
So yeah,
Up
I
the
did
vault.
tune in a bit late, but yeah, well, by the time we tuned in, we saw the score. Like, yeah, it was-
Again, another
switch it
good
off, yeah.
team to have if you had a multi on. Just for all your Storm try scorers in.
Yep.
Harry Grant's always good for a try. He got
Yep.
another. Harry with his Triple M. He had coach for 2. He got that,
Yep.
and that was it. he had coach for 2. Pappenhausen to score, and then for some reason he put Charles Nickel-Klodstad and Wade Egan from the Warriors in there. I don't know if he'd had a few Thailand Beveraginos, but yeah, he only got coach for the double. So, look, shout out to the international cricket sensation. He starts the year in fine form. How he left off in 2024 with 0 betting wins.
Yep.
But let's jump into our last game of the round. The Knights v the Tigers. Tigers getting it done 20-4. Dongle, the Knights are lucky that they scored a try in the last set
yeah,
because
very much.
they lost 20-0
Yeah,
last week.
Yeah, it was
And then it
looking
could have
the same,
been
yeah.
another one here.
I was thinking that. I'm like, oh man, they like surely not 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
0
yeah.
like that. That just can't happen. Yeah, in the modern game, but yeah, they nearly had it. What to say about the Knights? They were just shocking. Like absolutely appalling. Like they
Yeah.
had no answers. Like
No.
Tigers were good. I wouldn't say they were fantastic. The game did kind of fizzle out a bit. I guess the crowd at McDonald Jones wouldn't be too excited, so there wasn't really much there to sort of go off. But yeah, the game kind of fizzled out towards the end. Like it wasn't great viewing, but good for the Tigers. Yeah, where to for the Knights? Next is, I guess, what they're going to be asking themselves now. It's a deep hard look at themselves this week.
It really is.
They're
And
woeful.
I spoke last week about, the resurrection of Ponga. I thought
Yep.
he was going to come out in this game, really prove that he's still got it. But again, he just... I don't know if he's just going through a form slump, what's going on with Ponga, but he is the Knights. And if Ponga's not firing, the Knights not firing. I heard something on the Matty John show last night. They spoke a bit about Newcastle and they said, a team can try and have bad defence.
Yeah.
But when your attack's clunky,
Yep.
the team is not gelling. There's no cohesion. If your attack is clunky, there's no cohesion in that team. And at the moment, that was the Knights. Marju, there was twice where Tigers dropped the ball. Marju runs it up, first tackle and drops it. Like it just, it's just basic rugby league. I know we don't play first grade. I get it, right? But this is our job. We're couch commentators. We're fans. And we're supposed to watch.
Could be our job.
We are. We could be. Shout out to any sponsors out there that want to jump
money.
on. We're always interested. Shout out to our sponsors already.
Yeah.
They're fantastic
Legends.
people. But yeah, look, the Knights, I don't know where to from here. But Josh, the Tigers, mate, you were on them. I should have never went against you, mate. I know for next time, but they're looking good.
They are. Luai back this week. Bang, showed us that the Tigers were just missing Luai to make them fire.
Yeah.
And I will say this, Benji has to be watching us every week. I mentioned last week that Appy's kicking wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Who does the kicking this week? Dewey.
Yeah.
And how'd he go?
Nailed it.
1 conversion.
Oh.
That was it.
He did nail it.
1
Just
conversion.
that one.
Yeah.
1 conversion and 1 penalty goal. That was it. Out of the 4 tries they scored.
Jeez. Maybe Appy should have kicked.
Maybe Appy should have kicked. Or, who's the other kicker in their team?
Galvin, but
I don't think Galvin
infield
no.
play.
Who knows?
Maybe a good conversion kick. I mean, he won't be after 2026, but we'll get into that a bit later.
No,
Tigers
Tigers
showed
showed
much kicking at all.
Tigers did show a lot.
Trivia
this
to
week.
Para.
Yes,
I mean, we got a source. Anyway, that is it for our Ruck report for round 5. Let's jump into our next segment. Of course, we've got Dynamos and Dungs for that round. Dongle, we'll start off with you. Who was your Dynamo and Dung?
I do like Dave Feeder. I did catch the highlights.
Oh.
I thought he had
that
He tried
run
his
did
whole
too,
out, didn't he?
mate.
Yeah, poor guy in a losing team.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought it was pretty good.
Great shout.
And yeah, of course, my man, Big WK, Will Kennedy. I thought he was great. Yeah, love watching him play. It was excellent for the Sharkies.
Yeah, very nice.
Dung, again, gonna slam the refs again. I'm gonna keep slamming them every week. Parramatta, back at it again. And my man Trindle for giving me a heart attack. Saturday Ave.
I thought you were going to say Hines, mate.
Fuck that guy.
I think Hines still made it harder. Josh, Dynamos and Dungs for this round.
I don't know how you didn't mention this guy for your Dynamo. Hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, he was good.
Hammer was so good in that Thursday night game against the Panthers. Going over for the hat trick. It was really good to watch.
I want to change his name to the Jackhammer. Just sounds better.
Go for it.
Jackhammer.
Jackhammer.
Yeah.
Jackhammer.
Bouncing around.
Yeah.
And my Dung, same as last week. Manly and Knights.
Yep. It's funny, isn't it? Exactly
Manly
the same.
is not a one-man team, but they're showing that they
30% win record without Tommy. Maybe they are.
Yeah, and then the Knights again. What is it? They've scored one try in
3 weeks.
In 3 weeks.
Yeah.
2
Yes,
tries,
they had the
'cause
bye.
Even against the Titans, it was 26-6. So 2 tries in
So
their
they had
last
the
3
bye.
games.
Yeah. So the last 3 games,
Yeah.
2 tries.
Yeah, that's appalling.
But yeah.
Yeah, not
Good.
much more you can say. Dynamo for me, boys. There was a few. Terrell May still carving up at the Tigers.
Yep.
Every week I go to do my team of the week, and he's my prop.
Yeah, I noticed
Because
that this week too.
he just-
Yeah.
He just keeps on keeping on. Like, he is
Yeah.
doing so well, and because it always pains me to say it as a Roosters fan, we let him go, but there was a bit of stuff there. But the man I really want to talk about, and look, I mentioned him before, Billy Smith.
Yep.
Billy Smith, 2 tries. I thought he was fantastic, and it's such a redemption story. He's had all these injuries. A lot of people have written him off. He won't come back. He won't play footy. He's played 2 games, scored 3 tries already.
Yeah, he's all over it. Yeah.
He is all over it. He's ready. May be entering into a little suspension, but we'll talk about that soon. My Dungs, look, I'm on the same page as you. The refs, mate. I think not even the refs as a whole, but the NRL. I think they've just got this wrong with the sin bin calls and this new ruling on high shots, because we're fans of the game, and look, we've been fans of the game for a long time. And I remember, like, I was born late 90s, but you've watched highlights and you talk to your parents and your grandparents.
Yeah.
And the 80s and 90s were a fantastic time in rugby league, and I know we're not in that stage. I know we're 40 years on, but why can't we let the game flow?
Just flow.
Why can't we let the game flow? Like, and all these 6 agains, like, of course I love it when it benefits my team, but we don't need so many. Like, the game is so fast. We're going to get to a stage where the game is too fast. This is why all these injuries are happening.
Yeah.
Players can't keep up.
Yeah.
Players can't keep up with the speed of the game.
Too fast.
High shots
All
are
rounds.
happening because you get the speed out of the ruck. A player runs forward. They've come in for a tackle. They've slipped because everything's going so quickly. High tackle, sin bin. Like that. That's where we're at. And so I don't want to keep harping on the refs, but it's got to be said. Unfortunately, this is where our game has gotten. We're 2 weeks into trialing it, and it's already been a shit show.
And it looks like they go out there and like they see it and they review it, and then like everything stops. Like you tell them that it's kind of like they're filling a quota kind of thing.
Exactly.
Like they're like,
and then you see like
to get sent off,
the
and
second,
then like
the
later,
second half comes, and it's like, they ease off a bit,
and then, or they got to give one back, like, well, you had a guy go off
it's
the
crazy,
first, and
isn't
then
it?
That's a little bit high. We'll just get rid of him, makes it even.
You can see why fans are starting to jump off the game, and we never want to see that because we want it to be. It's the greatest game of all, in my opinion. So you want to see people watching it. You want to see bums on seats. That's the point. The NRL want to see bums on seats. It's revenue. So, but that's it for our Dynamos and Dung section. Let's jump into a little bit of he's been doing it all game, so and niggling suspensions and injuries. Now, a couple of suspensions. I spoke before about Billy Smith. He is set this, I think, 1 to 2 matches if he takes the early guilty plea, which again, I thought was pretty soft, but it's Reece Walsh, the supposed boy of the NRL. So if you hit him,
can't touch him.
No, you can't touch him. It's him and Cleary. You got a few there, Josh. You want to read out for us?
You got Rocco Berry, 1 to 2 matches.
Yep.
Who else we got? Jaden Sullivan taking the 1 match early plea of guilty,
which is not good for the Bunnies. They're already low on halves.
Yeah. Brock Gray from the Titans.
Yes, off the bench.
Who else we got? Jack Gasuski.
Jagewski,
That one.
It was a
One
similar
match, early
Broncos
clean.
game.
And then a couple of fines over the rest of the
that's
games.
fines, isn't it? Yeah, Ryan Madison.
Yeah, Crichton.
Yeah, Crichton was there
Kepi.
as well. Alamotti.
Yeah, there's a few. So there's been a few this week. Of course, injuries, not much to talk about. The big one, of course, was Hughes.
Yep.
We don't really know. I think he went for scans today. Not 100% sure. Of course, JFH as well from the Warriors.
Yep.
Fisher Harris, he failed to finish.
Yep.
Not much news there, is there yet?
Skelton. Yeah,
Is there much
he went
news
off
about
injured,
Fisher Harris?
No, just he's been sent for scans.
Yeah, okay, just scans.
Yeah.
And of course,
Serious.
Skelton, as you mentioned, he left the field. I don't think he'll be back. If he's got a hamstring injury,
Yep.
that looks like a couple of weeks. The money man,
Yeah, Tuipulotu, yeah.
Tuipulotu.
He got a bit of friction burn, I think, on his hand.
Yeah,
That one,
friction burn, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
After scoring 2 tries and celebrating again,
It was actually rain.
it was actually whip marks from Flanagan saying stop celebrating.
Stop.
But yeah, there
yeah.
couple there, and
I
of
didn't
course,
realise
Adam
I
Vanilla
didn't
Blake.
realise that. Vanilla Blake left the Sharkies, with an apparent groin injury.
Groin injury, not good for the
Doesn't-
Sharks.
Doesn't appear to be too serious.
Yeah, okay, well that's very good to hear.
He felt it early, then kept playing with it in his groin area. Fitzy with a...
They ride it well, don't
Kiss
they?
his big bald head.
Fantastic. So that is it for our injuries and suspensions. But let's jump into our next segment, which of course is
Let's go. Wild fantasy.
Wild Fantasies, brought to you by SC Rings. Check them out. SC Rings, best championship rings going around. And of course, they are the sponsors and the prizes for our NRL Fantasy and Supercoach comp. So if you are in those, some awesome championship rings. That's their NRL Fantasy on the side. They look like your Super Bowl rings you get. Boys, Joey's Immortals had a great week in Supercoach. 1,093. Very nice week this week. Of course, I captained Payne Haas. I captained Cleary in Supercoach, Payne Haas in Fantasy. Cleary was okay. I mean, nice 50, 60 odd. Payne Haas did really well. I think it was about 80 odd in a losing side, so that was very good for him. But the big one for me, I had Jackson Purdue in my Supercoach. Got me 2 tries, 122, I believe. So massive score for him. If anyone jumped on him as captain, well done. Fantastic. I know Ryan Pappenhausen was one of the big winners this week for captains as well. And I think he scored 270 odd as captain. So what's that, about 135?
Big.
Quick maths right there. But look, that's it for our fantasy and Supercoach segments. So don't forget, if you are in those, keep going. There are some fantastic prizes up for grabs. But we're going to jump into a bit of Profits Preview, round 7, boys. So how this works, of course, if you are new for the first time, I'm going to ask the boys, we're going to go through the games, give who we think is going to win, maybe a margin prediction, and possibly an anytime try scorers. So let's start off with Thursday night footy. Of course, the 17th of April, it is Easter weekend, so there will be Monday footy this weekend, which is exciting. But Thursday night footy sees the Manly Sea Eagles hosting the St. George Illawarra Dragons, 7:50, 4 Pines Park. Let's start off with you, Dongle, who you got?
Win-loss. Dragons. Not kidding, man. Dragons for days, man. What's it, Manly? No way. Dragons, easy. Money man, getting a double again. I got him. Let's do it.
If he's all
playing,
right.
of course.
Yes, he was seen iced, but look, he should be named. They probably just rested him at the back end.
Yeah.
Very nice, the Dragons.
Yeah, Dragons.
2
Definitely.
Lotto for 2. I love it. Josh, who you got and why can Manly win?
You're very funny today, Joey. I'm sorry. But I was thinking about it today, actually. I was thinking about it on my break. Is it going to be a win-loss scenario like last year? But with my heart and with my head, I said, no, fuck the Manly Sea Eagles.
Jeez.
Dragons by 10.
Bestiality. Probably not great.
Dragons by 10
We don't condone.
with Gutho going in.
Very
Gunner.
nice. I like it.
Beauty.
Dragons by 10.
Yeah.
Well, boys,
What do you got? No.
look,
He's not.
you know I like to be different. I really like to
but
be
not this
different.
game.
But not this game. I've gone the Dragons. I think Dragons get it done. Dragons by 14, and I'll throw Guffo and Holmes in for a try. And my boy Dylan Egan to go over again in this pack. I think he'll
Good
start
set.
second row. Yep.
Good set.
Throw him in, of course. Let's jump into our first Friday game. The Doggies are back. The Doggies host the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Good Friday clash. This is always an absolute belter.
Yeah.
Both hate each other on Good Friday for some reason. And the refs tend to ruin the game as well. So
That hasn't happened previously, has it?
no, not at all.
This year.
Just
No,
ask
we
James,
never talk
just-
bad about the refs.
Just ask James Graham in this. He'll tell you. But a couple of years ago, that was always a classic. But let's start off with you, Saints. Who you got in this game?
I'm going the doggies.
Yeah,
Doggies
continue
are
their
gonna-
undefeated run.
Yeah, I reckon they're going to continue their undefeated run, round 13.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
going to be a big year for them. Doggies are going to come up on top of the Rabbitohs this year. And in this game, I'm going on a biggie. I'm going an 18-point win.
Ooh, I like it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look, a couple of injuries for South Sydney, mate, of
Yeah.
course. And then throw in Sullivan gone as well, so they'll be scratching into the halves. But who you got?
Yeah, doggies again. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of teams you do see struggle though after the bye. Like there's some teams do lose a bit of form. Like if they're like sort of on a good roll, then they tend to have a bye. Like it's not always great for a lot of teams to have the bye. I don't know if it came at a good time for the Bulldogs or not.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out. I'm looking forward to the game though. Good Friday, Accor Stadium. Two Sydney-based teams. They should hopefully pack the place out. Yeah, it'll be great watching. In saying that, I'm still going to Bulldogs. Yeah,
Very
I
nice.
cannot look past them there, particularly the Rabbitohs injuries, and just because it is the Bulldogs this year, they're on fire. So yeah, Bulldogs probably going to go 1-12 though. Like I don't think they'll get it done like that easy. You have a concerned look on your face there. Hopefully everything's okay with the audio.
I was just doing that face because of what you just said.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, all right.
Audio's fine, mate. What are you talking about?
It's fine.
Quality's great.
It's a red button on.
It is.
Good to know. Yeah, okay. Yeah, doggies 1-12.
Yeah.
I reckon it'll be a good game. A tight game,
sure.
yeah, game of the round.
Boys, I'm going Souths. Wayne Bennett, these are the games he gets them up for. Look at the game against the Roosters. Big games for South Sydney is what Bennett thrives on. Against the Roosters, they had 14 men and they still won the game. I'm going Souths to win this in a tight one. Souths by 2. And that's big for me because, they're my arch enemy. But I think Bennett's going to have him up. I think what you said about the bye is spot on. I think for the Dogs, probably the worst time to have a bye with the momentum that they had. They would have had a rest. They would have been complacent during the week, being like, we didn't have to play any footy. We're on top. We won 5 in a row. The more you win, the closer you are to your first loss.
Yep.
So, and vice versa. So I'm going to back South in this one by 2. And I'm going to go, if he plays, because he did get done for a hip drop, but Jack Whiten for a try any time.
Yeah, okay.
I really like it.
If that's the case, it's going to be a freaking riot in Homebush, I'm telling you.
Yes. Well, it's not Belmore, which is good.
Yeah.
Let's jump into our second Friday night game. It's the Finns against the Melbourne Storm. Suncorp Stadium, 8 p.m. Dongle, who you got?
Another tough game, yeah. Like a couple of weeks ago, you would have put Melbourne to shit it in, yeah. But now, Dolphins hit a bit of form as well. No one expected them to get it done against Penrith, yeah. But $4.45 for the Dolphins. That's enormous.
It's juicy.
I'm teetering.
So am I.
I'm teetering.
I mean-
yeah.
I mean,
How are we going to do it?
Suncorp Stadium.
It could be it, yeah. A couple of injuries there. Flegler, Stone, Melbourne.
Flegler's been out all year, so
yeah,
that's
true,
very different for them.
All right, yeah, nothing really to.
I think it all depends on Hughes.
It does depend if Hughes plays. If
Yeah.
Hughes plays, I'm going to go Melbourne. If not, I'm taking the Dolphins. Yeah. I'll
Wow,
take the Dolphins.
big.
In a close game, in a very close game.
Just pick one because that's too long to write in my post.
Dolphins
If Hughes
in close
plays, if Hughes plays Melbourne, if Hughes doesn't Dolphins, I can't write. It won't fit in the.
I'm sure we can work that out.
Yeah.
Just
for
summarise it.
Hughes,
One
yes.
word. Yeah. I love it.
No Hughes, no win.
I love it. So Dolphins.
Dolphins, yeah.
Wow.
Let's go Dolphins.
Fins up, baby.
Fins up, baby.
Saint, who you got?
I've been teetering on this game.
Yep.
Like, same as you, Dongle. And, you know what? If I was a betting man,
Which we're not.
no. I'd chuck a tenner on the Dolphins.
It's not bad.
I'm going for the Dolphins.
It's sort of a bit too long of odds for the Dolphins at 440. They just beat Penrith. I mean, 445 seems a bit big for me.
In that game, the Dolphins were the underdog as well.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm going Dolphins. I'm going 2-point win.
Very nice. I like it. Look, boys, you've twisted my arm. If Hughes plays, I'm back in Melbourne. If Hughes doesn't play, I'm still back in Melbourne. I think they get it done in this game. Suncorp Stadium, look, they've still actually got a really good record at Suncorp. They always beat the Broncos there, and it's the Broncos' home ground. I just think they're going to be too good for the Finns. As much as I liked what I saw from the Finns last week, can't agree with you boys this week. I'm going Melbourne in a tight one. I'll say Melbourne by 6.
Yep.
And I'll back Stefano Utoikamanu for a try any time, the big bopper. And Hammerstone. I do, and Hammerstone for 2. Let's jump into our first Saturday game. It's the Waz against the Broncos. Only 2 Saturday games this week because of the Monday game. Warriors Bronx will be really good. Go Media Stadium in Auckland there. Let's start off with you, Saint. Who you got?
The Waz.
Wow.
Yeah,
and he says no one says it.
Yeah.
I think
it's a safe space.
I think the Waz at home are going to go well.
Yeah.
Okay. Broncos, I hate them.
Hates them.
I will
Sorry
say
to our
this.
Broncos
Hates
fans.
them.
No, I'm not.
Hate's a strong word, but he hates them.
I hate the Broncos. Always have. Always will. Especially now that they've got Reece Walsh. But nah, up the Waz. Waz by 10.
Massive. Dongle, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to the Warriors too. I think home game, that'll be massive for them, yeah. I just lost my tongue there. Massive game for the Warriors. The home ground advantage, though. I think that'll get them over the line. If it's at some court, I'm taking the Broncos, but I can't look past the Warriors.
What are the odds for the Warriors, mate? Because there's no way they're favourites.
308. Yeah. $1.38 for Brisbane. That's fairly short,
big,
yeah.
I'm taking Brisbane. To bounce back after last week's loss. Madge wouldn't have liked that loss at all. I think Madge will have them fired. I really like your shout, boys. I really do. Like, Warriors at home is always good, but I'm going to take the Bronx. I just can't go against them. I've still got them in my top 4 this season. So I'll take Broncos by 4, and I'll throw Tony Staggs, Reece Walsh, and Charles Nickel-Clodstad in for a try any time. But let's jump into the game of the round. Sydney Roosters against the Penrith Panthers. Saturday night, 7:35. Now, of course, Panthers, they lost 5 on the trot, looking for their first win. Roosters looking to back up a fantastic game against the Broncos. The Roosters haven't won 2 in a row yet this year. Massive. Panthers still favourites. $1.69, even after losing $5.69. And Roosters at $2.16. So, look, Roosters are definitely well into what they were when they first played them in round 2 at $11. But let's start off with you, Dongle. Who you got?
I think the Roosters get it done.
Oh,
yeah.
It's a good episode.
Well, it's a great episode. Yeah. It's good. It's good viewing. Good listening.
Very good.
How good are we? Sponsor us, please.
Yeah. The Roosters, yeah.
Yeah, sponsor us. It's one of those Nick Pilatus bags.
BYD, the car brand.
Yeah, whatever.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, I was going to say something there. I'm not going to say anything.
For a
car. Might get in trouble. Might get fired. Sydney Roosters. Yeah, I'm going to the Roosters. You'd think Penrith are going to be dangerous, though. We've been saying that the last few weeks, though, haven't we? Yeah, it was meant to be the danger game for the Dolphins. It was meant to be danger game for the Roosters. It was meant to be the danger game for everyone they played. Cowboys every other week leading up to that. But it's the same here. Like, you'd think it's a danger game for the Roosters, but until the Panthers show up and do something, Toto's still out, Kenny's still out, Jack Cole's still out. Yeah,
that was a big thing for Penrith against the Dolphins, Kenny being out, because as much as he's a fantastic player, Summerton just is not, unfortunately.
He's not up.
And he's not at Kennedy's level. And Ivan's got to do something. He's got to start to make those big moves and big changes. Saint, who you got?
Well, the cracks are starting to make the all the stones fall around the kingdom of Penrith. But I'm gonna go the draw.
The draw. Wow.
There we go.
You're not me, mate. You can't make that call. I make those calls.
They're going to say,
we'll see.
How do you
Draw.
top that? Something more ridiculous.
They go in the extra time, no one scores, you reckon?
Yeah.
No Cleary field goal?
No.
Wow.
Can't kick him anyway.
He'll attempt.
Sabala field goal, mate.
He'll attempt. Get blocked.
Very nice. I like it. Well, look. It's the old dog against the new dog. Savala v Cleary.
Yep.
We know what Cleary's done. Savala's just coming of age. He's played one fantastic game. Can he back it up this week? Look, lots of question marks. I'm very nervous about this game. Of course, we're Penrith losing 5 in a row. It's the opposite of what I said before. The more you lose, the closer you are to your first win.
Yep.
And it would be nervous times. Ivan will be having them absolutely raring to go and saying, don't get complacent, because that's what happened in round 2. They were complacent. The Roosters beat them. Billy Smith may be out, but we should see the return of Mark Nwanganitawaze. Love saying his name. So he'll be there in centre, I would assume. Victor played off the bench last week, which I really liked.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot better. It probably stops his concussions as much, and he can have a bit of an impact as well. I'm going Roosters. I'm going to take this by 13 plus again. I think we can get it done. I really do. I think as long as we can target that left edge of Penrith, I think we'll win. I really do. Talangi still isn't there. If Casey McLean plays, we just get them to pass the ball to him. They'll drop it every time.
So he just gets tackled and
just look at him.
People on his outside.
Yeah, perfect.
Why would I pass it to him?
So I'll go Roosters in a big one. Let's jump into our first Sunday game. The Tits against the Ritz this week. Titans v Raiders. Seabuzz Super Stadium. 2 p.m. on the Gold Coast. Going to be a fantastic game out there. Saint, let's start off with you. Who you got?
Keep your tits in, Joey. Up the Raiders.
Up the milk.
There we go.
Love it.
Raiders by, I'm going to say it's going to be a close-ish one. Raiders by 6.
Ooh, very nice, Dongle.
There we go. Still not a fan of Canberra. Don't like them.
That's never going to change.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, look, you can't change it. I'm stubborn as shit. I'm going to the Gold Coast here. I'm going to go the Titans.
Wow.
I think they're going to get it done. They need to bounce back. They're only just outside favourites. Well, only just outside, I should say. Like $1.98 to $1.86. Canberra. It's nothing than that at all. Look, I think the Titans will bounce back. I think they'll get it done.
I like it.
Just because, fuck Canberra.
Yeah, look, I like it, and I get it, because Canberra off a 50-point win as well is dangerous for Canberra, because they tend to then slack off the next week. So they've won 2 on the trot now, and the Titans have lost 2 on the trot. So this one's a toss of a coin. This one's real hard.
Kyle Pereira, possibly black as well.
Yeah,
possibly back this week too.
Probably one of the hardest. I don't know who to go. I'll back Raiders for now. And of course, we'll see what happens by Sunday. I may change my mind. But at the moment, I'll go Raiders. Based off their 50-point win last week, I'll go Raiders in this one. Savage for a try, Tamale to score, and Nicholson anytime. And let's jump into our next Sunday game. The Knights against the Cronulla Sharks. McDonald Jones Stadium, 4:05 p.m. What a time to be alive. What a game.
What a game.
Saint, who you got?
I got the Sharkies, Ryan.
Oh, very
Good
nice.
man.
Always.
Good man.
After last week's performance, apart from the last, 5 minutes? Sharkies just look so good. And the Knights were my dung for this week. And I don't think that's going to change.
No.
I think the Knights maybe score 2 tries this week. That's my big call.
That's your call. Whoa.
Wow.
But Sharkies get up.
Sharks score 7.
Sharkies up by 30.
I like it. Dongle, who you got?
Sharks, mate. Yeah, gonna go the Sharks. Sharks, by 30. Hines, 2+ conversions. That's fine. He's gonna work on his kicking this week.
Yeah, very nice. 2+. Yeah.
2+ conversions.
Well, they weren't at Shark Park today, I'll tell you.
I like it, boys. I've learnt my lesson. I'm not taking the Knights. I've taken them 2 weeks in a row, and they've done nothing for me.
Take him again.
Take them again, please.
Still solid.
You know what?
No.
You know what?
Could be.
This is a danger game for Cronulla.
It is. Yeah.
Right? This is a danger game because Donald Jones Stadium is a fortress, as we've seen for Newcastle, especially the past couple of rounds.
Yeah.
They've been absolutely electrifying out there.
It's a fortress they just let everyone into.
Yeah, I think that's where they played the Doggies and they lost 20-0 with Donald Jones. But there you go. Oh, cool. Oh, that's
last
fine.
Week,
last week
was against Tiggs.
Against the Tigers was that Donald Jones? Sorry, 20-4.
Yeah.
Look, I'll take the Sharks. I think Sharks will be too good. Kennedy, Hines, Stone Street for a double. Not Kennedy and Hines, they're just anytime. And then Stone Street for a double. And let's jump into our final game, of course, Easter Monday. Tigers v Eels, the former 2024 Spoon Bowl. Not this year, though.
No.
For one team it is. For the other, not so much. Let's start off with you, Dongle. Who you got?
Tough game, soft spot for both of these teams. It's hard to look past the Tigers, Parramatta sort of slipped back to their ways, particularly after the Darwin game against the Raiders there.
Yeah.
They're going to do something special, don't they, Parramatta? I'm not too sure. This is the week they're going to do it, though. Yeah, Tigers do sort of show up.
And this is the game to do
solid.
it.
Yeah.
Eels won this by... Tigers won by a point last year when Goverson missed a penalty goal.
That's right, yeah. If, but if Tigers want to be serious this year too, I think they need to do something pretty special here as well. They need to put a big score on, keep the Eels scoreless, do something along those lines, So, it's going to be a tough game, but I'm going to stick with the Tigs here,
Yeah, very nice. Saint?
I'm the same. Tigers are going to take this game. Eels just aren't performing to the level that we expect them to.
Yeah.
Yes, they lost Gutho from last year, but I don't know, just they haven't filled any spots that they lost.
Yeah.
Whereas the Tigers they've brought in Luai.
They've recruited well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Tigers by 40.
Oh, man, it's a massive call, and Tigers fans will be absolutely cheering. Shout out to the stats man, you know, he definitely listens. I'm going to also back the Tigers in this one. I think they get it done. I've got a real soft spot for the Tigers. I love what they're doing this season. It's so good to see them in the top 8 and just doing well. It's just really good to see because, you know, enough is enough. Like, they lost 3 years in a row. Like, give them a chance. I'd love to see it. So I'm going Tigers. Eels, the River Slugs for me, they are just woeful at the moment. I can't back them this week, so I'll go Tigers by about 16. Look, I want to throw Terrell May in for a try. I reckon through the middle, Eels, tired middles. Terrell May for a try anytime, so throw him in. But that's it for the Profits preview for round 7. Let's jump into a bit of Lucky Ruckies. Of course, friend of the show. Don't forget to contact us at ruckinfringerpod@gmail.com or into our inboxes on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or X. We want to hear your funniest rugby league story. It can have either happened to you or one that you have seen. And the funniest, if we really like them, we will give some prizes to you. You'll become a friend of the show. Prizes include Ruck Infringement bottle openers, Ruck Infringement mugs. We've got some stubby holders going around as well. So stay tuned. Please contact us and get those in. All right, a few talking points, boys. Now, the first one. Roosters Broncos, fantastic game, but marred by an ending where Spencer and JT had a bit of a blow-up. We've now heard from both sides. We've sort of got a bit of a story. We didn't really know much Friday night. From what I have gathered is that it stems from Vegas last year when Spencer called Ezra Mam a monkey. You know, not much in it. Racism, whatever, call a spade or a monkey. But that's what happened. That's what happened.
Yeah.
He called him a monkey.
Yeah.
Ezra took offence to that. Spencer got 9 weeks, something like that.
Games, yeah.
Thurston came out saying she should have got 12. NRL needed to make a
Yep.
precedent of it. But then Ezra Mam goes out and puts a child in hospital under the influence of drugs, and Jonathan Thurston says nothing.
Yeah.
And that's where it all stemmed. Fair enough.
Yeah.
From my point of view, Spencer would be mad. I don't know if on field is the best place to do it. I think maybe in private. We know Spencer's quite an aggressive sort of dude. That's just his style, and that's fine. But I think going off the way he did is not great. If you want to talk to Thurston about it, pull him aside, go into the sheds and go, hey, mate, because that's the first time Spencer's played the Broncos since that happened.
Yeah.
That's the first time he's seen Thurston since that happened. So, if that's where your issue is, call him into the shed, say, hey, mate, listen, I didn't like what you said last year. You didn't back anyone. When Ezra did the same thing, you said nothing. But from what I heard, apparently Spencer went off with 20 minutes to go. The crowd were all booing him, and he pretty much said, fuck you to the Broncos crowd.
Yep.
And then he said, fuck you too, and pointed at Thurston. Thurston didn't know what for, and apparently Thurston kept trying to interview him. He said, bro, I don't want an interview. We're not mates. And he said, you're two-faced. I'm Eatswa, which means sweet for those that don't live out west like us. He said, I'm Eatswa. And then, basically just said, and look, we can only speculate because we weren't there. But in my opinion, they're both allowed to have a say. They're both allowed to have an opinion.
Yep.
If that's how Spencer feels, that's how he feels. If Thurston reacts that way, then that's how he reacts. And apparently Thurston waited over an hour for Robinson to finish the press conference so he could approach Robinson about it. And what did he think Robert was going to do? Not defend his player?
Yeah.
Of course Robert defended Lenu and said, mate, he's allowed an opinion. It's NRL.
That's it.
I think it's good for the game. But,
it is.
Mate, your take?
Yeah, look, there's definitely more than what we're ever going to get told.
Yeah,
yeah,
of course.
everything's coming out. It was like one of the journos today, I think it was Webster. He said, "Oh, look, I've got good word that the XYZ happened." It was basically what you just summed up there.
Yeah.
I still don't think we're going to get the full story.
No.
Hopefully, it goes away soon though. Yeah, it'll just drag out, and like you said, it did. It's like that's the talking point from the Roosters and Broncos game, not the game itself.
The Roosters winning after being underdogs, and
And you're right. Is there a way to go about it? Yeah. Like I think it's JT. like you do have to put some respect on his name there for what he's done to the game. But
as well, he
also
didn't put respect on
Menu. He's had, there's been reports he's had a bit of a colourful past too, but
Coffs Harbour.
Yeah, can't go into that. Yeah, can we?
But no,
he's
not.
But
it's true. Yeah,
it is true. But
I know the past is the past.
It is the past, and I'm sure he's learned from mistakes and stuff. But I just think there was such a better way to go about it than on the field there. I think approaching continue. I think you're sort of poking the bear there, trying to get an interview with him. I guess for a reaction, which would have been the interview would have been like a bit of a fiery interview. I think
the biggest thing for me,
saying something there.
The biggest thing for me is how are the NRL going to handle this? Because if Spencer cops a fine for this or matches, I will be really angry because there's nothing in it.
No.
It's two guys having a conversation. He's called him a fuckwit. Okay. How many journos have been called fuckwits?
Oh,
pretty much all of them.
Do you have time to list everyone?
Exactly. That's the thing. And Molly came out and said that.
Yeah.
Molly said every journo's been called a fuckwit. And Phil Rothfield said the same thing, and he even called Thurston a sook. If you're sooking about someone calling you a fuckwit, you shouldn't be commentating or being a journo.
That's not the worst thing Thurston.
No, exactly. You know what I mean? But
career anyway,
I'm interested to see what the NRL are going to do. And they said they're not going to do anything unless Thurston makes a complaint. But I said, what about Linu? What if Linu makes a complaint?
Yeah, 100%.
Why are they just saying we're not going to do anything until Thurston makes a complaint?
Yeah.
Golden troll.
Yeah,
always
exactly.
will be.
It's just crazy. And look, we don't condone racism at all. There's no place for racism in sport. 100% agree about that.
Yeah.
Thurston, a proud Indigenous man, and rightfully so. Fantastic player. He's done a lot for the Indigenous community, and this stems from a racist issue. But this moment right here was not racial at all.
No.
It was not racial in nature. Nothing that happened. Those people that are saying it was racial, he had it out for Spencer or Spencer's got it out for Aborigines is not true.
Yeah.
In either case. And I think, again, it was two guys having a heated discussion. Better place to do it, as you said.
Yeah.
Josh, any thoughts at all? Any other takes on this?
I reckon the only way they're going to get over it is if they either go to the boxing ring, have it out in there, or Thurston puts the Guernsey back on.
Yeah.
Do it on the field.
Yeah, right.
The run it straight challenge.
Yeah, imagine that.
Oh.
Thurston Tiny running up against Spencer.
Spencer, when you.
He'll end up in Penrith.
Hey, that's the only time we're going to get him out here.
I love it. But look, that's it for that first talking point. We'll move on to some others. It's quite a strong topic at the moment in Rugby League.
Yeah.
Let's jump into our next one, of course. I wrote, when will Penrith get their first win in Australia? Josh thinks could be this week against the mighty Chooks.
Yeah. I tipped the draw. I didn't tip the Panthers win.
Hey, it's still a win. They get 1 point.
Split point.
They get a point for it. It's going to be really interesting, isn't it? I mean, again, I know we've talked about this a lot, and fans and listeners are probably sick of hearing it, but it's just so unlike Penrith. It's so unlike them. 5 losses in a row, could be 6, and then I believe they play Melbourne the week after the Roosters. No? Who they got? Oh, Manly. So possibly a win the week after that. And then they're into the bye, are they?
Bronx.
That'll be a tough game. That'll be tough for them. So they do have a few tough games. Cowboys have already beat them this year. It's gonna be interesting. I think Origin's gonna be the big one because you got probably 5 games over that Origin period. Knowing the NRL, Penrith will get 3 of those off for buys. But the other 2 they probably lose because they've probably got 5 players going to Origin.
At least Cleary for sure.
We've seen what their reserve graders.
Edwards is going to be going.
Yo,
Toto, Liam Martin.
Probably Lindsay Smith as well. Yep. He could be a little smoky, but so if they lose those 6, they're not winning the game over Origin at all.
Hard, yeah.
They're no cover.
Such unfamiliar territory now. Like we're so used to seeing them win everything and being dominant. It's not like it's upsetting to see or anything, but
no. Well,
you don't want to see.
I can't say I haven't had a smile on my face for 5 weeks in a row, but
it's just different. Yeah, it's just no one expected it this year.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's I think we're still. So we go, okay, well, when are they going to win? And we thought last week, we thought the week before, we thought the week before that, and it's just.
One thing we know it won't be this week.
Yeah. So. No, well, that's it. Yeah, well, hopefully not. It's all about the tips, got to get them right.
Exactly. Boys, another talking point I want to talk about, of course. Now, the NRL have bought 33% of the Super League, or they're interested in buying 33% of the Super League. Does this make it viable? I think it's a really, really good option.
Yeah.
The Super League, for me, you watch it, you can see sort of the lack of professionalism. It's very much, players score tries. The refs, we think our refs a crap and don't care. The refs don't care in Super League.
Yeah.
I've seen so many games where they knock the ball in front of him, gather it, and just keep playing. Like it's very much. But it is for younger players. It's a stepping stone to the NRL, and for older players, it's a retirement home.
It's good.
You know, so I think it's a really good move if the NRL go ahead with it. They're interested in it at the moment. 33%. What that gives us, we don't know.
Yeah.
Whether that's
what's the reasoning there? Like
I don't know why 33%, but I don't know if that just gives them a base to maybe get some like reserve grade teams or something like that, or a couple of teams. But I'm not too sure how it's all working at the moment, and they're probably not all across it yet. You know, there's probably not 100% going to happen yet, so we're not too sure. But if it does, I think it'll be very good. The last talking point I had, we found out today. Lachie Galvin has rejected a 5-year, $5 million deal to stay with the West Tigers.
That's insane.
Wants to go and check his value on the open market. Now, again, there's two sides to this story. So, the first one is Lachie Galvin and his management. I think it's poor from them in the sense of he wouldn't be checking his worth if the Tigers hadn't given him his start.
Yeah.
Because he no other club would have offered him $1 million if he didn't get a start with the Tigers.
God, no.
You know, and that's the thing. So the Tigers have offered him $1 million, but then it's poor from the Tigers management because he came out and apparently he said, I am happy at the Tigers. I just want to go and have a look and see my worth. That was it.
Okay.
He didn't say he was leaving. And then the Tigers said, no.
Yeah, really?
So Tigers pulled the plug.
Yeah, okay.
And said he won't be here after
So
2026.
it's done. He's definitely not going to up his offer or.
No.
Yeah, right.
No.
Okay. I didn't realise that. I thought they were.
No, Tigers pulled the plug. So then I go, that falls on Tigers recruitment because I've seen heaps of players do that. Heaps of big names have gone, I just want to check what I'm worth. Okay, no club is really interested in more. Okay, I'll stay.
Yeah.
You know, and that's usually what happens.
But that's to leave, though, isn't it?
But why are they doing this now and not closer to November? Like, why are the Tigers pulling the pin now, not waiting to see? Because what happens if the Tigers make the 8, right?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
You know, and Galvin's part of the reason they get there.
Yeah.
And then they make the 8. Next year they build towards a premiership. 2027, they're in line for a premiership. He's gone. You know, like, it just... For me, it was poor from both parties. I think the question I got to you boys, he's contracted to the end of 2026. Where do we see him ending up? What do you reckon?
I honestly don't know. Yeah, probably the Roosters, because they just go over it.
Roosters or Eels, I think.
No, Eels.
Eels probably in the
perhaps,
box seat.
Perhaps even Manly, maybe. Yeah, like to cover that, cover the gap there. I know Manly going to do a year without DCE, so they'll definitely have something there to chuck at him. You know. I definitely think he'll stay in Sydney. Like, I don't think he'll go to...
he was an Eels fan as a kid and an Eels junior.
Right, there you go. Okay.
So it would be interesting. And it would be a great fit. I mean, they lose Dylan Brown.
Yep.
You know, they pick up Lachie Galvin, like Galvin and Moses.
Yeah, that'd be great, yeah.
And I believe Galvin's manager is Isaac Moses as well.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Who is the cousin of Mitch. And
yeah, so the writing's on the wall there.
Yeah,
just about,
possibly.
Okay. Right. It's disappointing for Tigers, yeah. Like
It is.
You feel like he owes something to the club too. Like, you know, obviously, like, you don't know personally what's going on there, or it's another one of those situations where again we don't know.
And look, $1 million is a lot for an 18-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of money for, like they're paying on potential.
Yep.
They're not paying on his worth. They're paying on potential because it's like what we spoke about earlier with young guys.
It's not like you're paying $1 million for 26.
Cherry Evans
in the prime.
You know, Cherry Evans at 36, probably heading to the Roosters next year. Probably gets 1.2 at the Chooks at 36 because he's still the Queensland captain. He's still representative player. Like, that's the thing. So and you know he's established as a halfback. Lachie Galvin is not established. It's his second year of footy.
Yeah.
And the Tigers just offered him a $5 million deal for 5 years, and he turned it down.
That's insane. Yeah.
Which is crazy. So
unless he's already on the back of his mind that he was leaving, that I want to see what I'm worth.
It's interesting. Like, he said he wouldn't leave the club, and then he would. There's a bit of talk. Apparently, he came out and said that. It
was after a loss last year or something. He said.
Yeah, that he was going. But that all sort of got put in the back burner. But today I read something as well that he pretty much said that Benji's coaching style doesn't work, and that he doesn't think he can reach the player he wants to be under Benji Marshall, which is which is
insane.
phenomenal to me because Benji is the Tigers' best ever number
Raiders
6.
halves, yeah.
And like Lockie probably learns a shit ton off Benji, well you would think. But Josh, any other clubs we haven't spoken about you reckon he could end up at?
I got 2 on the top of my mind.
Yeah.
One of them, Dragons. I would love to see him in the red and white.
How many more halves do they need? Jeez.
I would love to see him in red and white.
Yeah.
In a couple of years.
Yeah, nice.
If not, you're gonna hate me. Souths.
Oh, jeez, I hope he doesn't go
Sydney.
Souths.
I didn't even think so.
Nah, I didn't know.
I just didn't think of it. Yeah,
I just don't think
could
they
be a fit,
will.
though.
Oh,
Yeah.
it depends on Walker. Walker's 35, so
It's getting up there.
yeah, he probably got one more year in him. And he's injured at the moment. He might not even have one more year.
Yeah.
This could be it for Cody Walker. So
If
Not a
Walker
bad
has
shout.
if Walker has 2 more years in him, take Galvin under his wing in that last year.
Galvin Humphreys.
That's
be
what
pretty
it'll be,
good. Not too bad. I personally think Eels. I think if the Roosters do sign him, it'll only be if they don't get Cherry Evans. I think if they don't land Cherry Evans, they'll make a play for Galvin.
Yep.
Because I don't think they'll sign Cherry Evans for 2 years to then bring Galvin in 27 when you've got Walker there. So
Yeah.
I can't see that happening. If they don't get Cherry Evans, I could see Roosters signing him to play alongside Walker, and that would be electric, both of them together. But yeah, very interesting. That's it for our talking points. Let's jump into a ladder update for heading into round 7 now. Of course, on top still is the Bulldogs, undefeated at the moment, heading into the bye. Number 2, Melbourne, of course. 3, Broncos. Canberra rounding out the top 4, which is incredible at the moment. The bottom half of the top 8 is the Rabbitohs, Warriors, Tigers, and Sea Eagles. Heading into the bottom 8, we've got the Sharks, Dargans, Titans, Knights, Cowboys, Dolphins, and the bottom 3, Roosters, Panthers, and Eels.
3 of the biggest clubs in this
Crazy
generation.
stuff there. I mean, the Eels we can expect because they were down there last year as well. But Roosters and Penrith being in the top 4 last year to be where they are is amazing at the moment. But that's our ladder update heading into round 7. Of course, field questions. We're going to do Joey's Jumble now, boys. And we've got our points there. Now, Ryan, you are on 3 points. Josh, you're on 3 as well. Harry's on 4.5. Luke is on 3. And, of course, producer Reese is on half a point.
It's all good for Reese.
It's not looking good. And we probably want to get back on at this rate. But Joey's Jumble for this week. Are we ready? Do you want to test your buzzers?
Josh. Oh, right.
If you say that, I'll give him the point. Beautiful. Buzzers work
do
well.
it. Buzzers
All
work,
right.
I hope they work.
First question. What was the final score in the Melbourne Warriors game?
Josh.
Shit, no.
42-14.
Ryan.
It was a 46-16.
Oh, both incorrect. You want to have another shot?
42-16.
Have another shot?
I feel like we're on. What's that show? Higher.
Price is right.
It's 40-some. There's
what
something in the
was it?
team.
It was Storm. It was Storm 42.
Yeah, 42. Nah,
No,
it was 46, wasn't it?
it was 42. They only scored 1 try in the second half. So taking it to 42.
Yeah, it was 42.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
42-14.
Sorry. I thought it was 44. Sorry.
So 42-14.
He was right the first time. Sorry about that. Sorry, if you are watching, Josh got the point. Well done, Josh. Yay! Press the button, cheering.
Is this whole thing fixed?
It is.
Oh, no.
I don't want you to win. You're a shark.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Jersey down.
Next question. Are we ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Are you sure?
It's going to turn off the scores, so I'm not
Oh,
sure.
yeah, good. Yeah, don't
I
cheat.
got this run sheet.
No
mate.
Googling.
What is a try?
Rugby League. What is that?
What's it behind?
The second question is, who was the first player to get sin-binned in the Roosters Broncos game?
Ryan, that was Georgievski for the Broncos.
He was the second player to get binned. Josh, would you like to steal the answer? Who was the first player to get binned?
I'll let him take the point so that it's a tie break.
Oh, it was Billy Smith. First player to get sin-binned in the game. All right, tiebreaker, 1-1. Here we go. The deciding question. I better make this a tough one. Both of those have been simple.
Yeah.
What was the name of the stadium that the Eels and Raiders played at?
TIO.
Oh, he's all over it. Ryan gets 2
I
points.
remember
Josh
that
1.
because it was a weird camera angle. Did you notice that? The whole, like, because obviously the note up top was like a low camera. And you just, that gives you a headache, doesn't it? Yeah.
It just reminded you of TIO.
Yeah, well, it was on the back.
Oh, right. Oh, there you go. I didn't know why that reminded me of TIO, but it did. Sweet. Well done, Ryan. Yay! Ryan's the winner this week. Love it.
Got it.
No viewer questions for this week. Don't forget to get them in when the post does drop. Of course, that's it, really, for the Rugby League podcast this week. Luke and Harry will be back next week. Of course, I'm sure the Dongle and Josh will probably come and join us in the garage. Of course, not much space in here, but if you do want to come along, come along. Don't forget to check us out on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. I'd like to thank my co-hosts in the Dongle and the Saint today. Of course, I am the Prophet. Don't forget to check us out. Say hi if you see us in the flesh. We'll say hello, and Ryan might even do a bow for you. Of course, don't forget the big thank you to our sponsors. Check them out as well. Gibson's Country Style Jerky, At Print in Penrith, Koala Mowers in Penrith, of course, League Lids, Sports Heads AU, and TBC Live, and of course, SC Rings. Fantastic sponsors for our fantasy and Supercoach comps. And you, the listener, we thank you for what you do and for listening. You are what makes this podcast what it is. Couldn't do it without you. Until next time, that's the Dongle, that's the Saint. I'm the Prophet. Be good.